Whenever you
Right
are.
on the set.
And I hope you include that. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
And
Rabbi
Rabbi
Singer.
Singer. Hey, happy Elul officially.
Woo!
Kimat. Oh no, I guess actually for this, yes. It is Elul. It is the month before the high holidays officially begin, or it's actually the beginning of the high holidays in some respects. If you look at this as kind of the kickoff and the preparation. And I love Elul. I think that it's particularly helpful right now because it's just a month that's about personal reflection and spiritual preparation. And what do we need right now more than some personal reflection and spiritual preparation? It's been a really weird and crazy year. And I love that the Jewish calendar kind of builds reflection on our experiences and like bakes it in to how we prepare ourselves to start over and to start a new year. So I thought everybody kind of approaches Elul a little bit differently. So I just wanted to talk about how we approach it personally, what we like to do, what we don't like to do, give a shout out to a few resources. The first is this book. You may or may not have read it. It's very cool. Everybody loves it, but that's because it's good. It's called This Is Real and You Are Completely Unprepared. And I think particularly for 2020, that's a very apt title. And it's by Rabbi Alan Liu, and it's just this beautiful diving into the meaning behind the high holidays. In talking to people, I've heard a number of people say, I go to the high holidays every year. I went to Hebrew school, and I'm still not really sure what's going on. Like, I do it because, it's comfortable, it's familiar, but sometimes I still feel a little confused about like what those practices mean. If that's you, this is your book. It's cool, it's modern, it breaks it down super easily. So I just wanted to recommend that. And he talks in the book about the practice in Elul of hearing the shofar every morning, that we're supposed to be kind of continually waking up. I'm going to read a little sentence. He says, the horn blows to usher in Elul, and it is blown every morning on the month of Elul as well, lest we forget and slip back, lest we surrender to the entropic pull of mindlessness. So we're kind of trying to not lose ourselves to mindlessness, to wake up and stay awake. So one way I'm going to be working on doing that is through this journal that my mom got me. And when she called and she said, like, I'm sending you this journal, and I kind of like rolled my eyes a little bit, and I was like, okay, Mom, whatever. But it's actually really cool. It's called the Monk Manual, and it gives you these little sections to work on. I think in the morning, or I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to. Mom, she's going to be working on it. Yeah. The sections are prepare, check in, and change, and work towards change and reflect. So it's prepare, change, and reflect. And you the idea is you write a little bit every week or so about how you want to do that. And I think that it's called the Monk Manual, like a monk. Nice. I don't know. It's very pretty too. So how are you guys thinking about preparing, changing, and reflecting in the next month, in the month of Elul?
Yeah, so I'll start off. I think for me, the preparing is preparation for next year, which starts in a month, less than now. And that aspect of what do I want to do next year and to get that kind of running start is one of my favorite parts about Elul. Is like, if I make the change now, then I won't have to like make the change day one. I'll already be going. And so one of those things I pull from Elul, which is also thought to be an acronym of Ani Lidodi Vidodi Li. Which means I am to my beloved as my beloved is to me. And that aspect of like love and relationship is something that I know I'm always in need of continuing to work on. So one of the things that I'm working on this month of Elul is making sure I'm continually being in relationship, in communication with the people I love, more than just the other three screens here, but the people I love who I don't get to see every day. Especially those live down in Florida and other states.
Mom, he's about to call.
I'm excited to see how that's going to go for whatever Shira says. Kendra Ben David's going to have something about mom as well. But yeah, it's a big part for me of getting that running start of being in relationship, continually strengthening the relationships of love that I have.
Beautiful.
Well, I'll tell you guys, this is my birthday month. And I am not one of those people that, like to isolate an entire chunk of a month and say that they own it. But I do love August. I do love this time of year. I'm a Leo. I think that that's pretty obvious. It's why, this is where this comes from, right? And for me, I'm usually in a pretty bad mood on my birthday. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes birthdays just make me feel a little bit cranky because I'm just sort of taking stock of everything. And it just, even the taking stock, even when they're good things, it's just heavy. And so the birthday weighs on me. But this year, crazy enough, because everything has been so heavy, my birthday was extremely joyous and just I accepted the love. I accepted the time that we spent in the park. I was grateful for it. And this time of year, as we prep for High Holy Days, I'm really, really trying to be more responsive. I think sometimes in my, I almost become like paralyzed with being overwhelmed, that it is so hard to respond to everybody we need to, and to really respond. Like the way we talk about the differences in Shema of hearing and listening, that getting back to our loved ones, but also getting back to the people that we are creating these big moments coming up with, that like we really, when we get back to each other, really thinking about what the other person really needs to hear from us. And so I'm trying, still failing, but trying. So that's my little.
I love it. And the part that you read from the book, Rabbi Singer, it reminds me of when I was in Jerusalem one year, many years ago. And I was staying in a place that was right next to a Sephardic synagogue. And every morning at 4 a.m., you would hear the blast of the shofar, because that's where what they wanted to do, as far as I understood it, was that it happened before the sunrise. So who knows, maybe it was at 5 or 6 o'clock. It felt like 4 o'clock to me in the morning, because it was certainly before I wanted to be awake. And yet there was something about it that felt like, I don't know, it felt like my soul was being something. Even without my consent, I still loved that my soul was being stirred by our neighbors down the block. And I'll say that for me, a book that I love to explore this time of year is a book called Petuach Sagor Petuach, which means open, closed, open, by Yehuda Amachai. And I'll say that the thing that I love about it, and this is what I want to be working on this year, is that he talks about, so it's a later collection of his, and it's almost as though he's doing this whole grappling with his whole life through his relationships, but also through his faith, and how complex faith can be. That it's not something where faith is that you have to believe in this and then it's going to happen, and then that's what faith is. But it's all this wrestling and the struggling, and what's my responsibility in it? What's the divine responsibility in it? What's my community's responsibility in it? But I love the way that he wrestles with faith, and that's what, for me this year, this past year has really been trying on my faith, as far as just it's been difficult, and things have been. Well, I think we're actually going to talk about this a little bit on the high holidays, but and it was Susan Lichtenstein who shared with me this analogy of have any of you been in an earthquake before? And like so there was one summer
From the West Coast.
like so do you know like that when it's like that low level rumble and you feel it and you're like, wait, but I'm on ground. Why do I feel something shaking as though like a big train is going past, or something that would rattle my home? Like if I'm on my ground, my feet should be firm, but it just felt like my feet weren't firm under me. And I feel like that's been this low grade feeling that I've felt throughout this time with the coronavirus. And so how do then I use that time where it feels so shaky beneath me to still find this rich faith? And again, the complexity of faith, not the simple faith, but the faith that actually can withstand that kind of rumbling, that kind of shaking. And so for me, that's something that I'm looking forward to really exploring this year. And for me, there's no better book to help me on that journey than Patuach Sagor Patuach. Open, Closed, Open by Yehuda Amachai.
Rabbi Conover, I was thinking about when you were describing that image of the shofar going off at like 4 a.m. that really the one of the great shofar blowers in the farm industry is the rooster. Every morning, that's the shofar blow for farmers. It's wonderful. So that's that's the image for me.
I love it. Well, I'll just say that I love that notion of the rooster for the farmers, the shofar for us, those ways of being able to be held accountable in relationships, the way that I think that's both what Rabbi Gelman had said, what Cantor David is saying, and that I think that this time of year and in the world right now, I think it's calling on us to be in right relationship, period. Right relationship with each other, right relationship with, this community that we're part of, right relationship with God, right relationship with people with whom we're allies, right relationship on so many levels this time of year is calling on us. And so Rabbi Singer, thank you so much for us realizing that here's our launch into Elul. Let's make good use of it.
Love it.
Amen.
Bye, everyone.
You want me to do a
Perfect.
Yes.
Did you?